Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, where our goal is to expand your focus and perspective on life. This is your daily dose of motivation, mindfulness, and so much more. And now, here to help you take your day back, your host, Dan Hafner.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. A beautiful morning today. This is Dan Hafner joining you here. Thank you all for joining. Today's topic is this: seeds and echoes. As always, thank you all for joining. Appreciate you guys coming on today. So today I do have to preface this entire show with a little note that honestly, this idea, I can't really claim credit for this idea and this topic. I actually heard this on a podcast by a man by the name of Ed Milet. If you haven't heard of him, he's the truth. He's freaking incredible. Talks about some really, really inspiring stuff. His story is really, really cool, but I won't get into that. But I do want to say that this is kind of an adaptation of one of his episodes. But I decided to do it because it's something that I've heard of, before. And then when I heard him articulate it in his podcast, it just like absolutely made like I can't even describe how much sense it made. Like it was just I can't even find the word for it. But basically, seeds and echoes. What we talk about is this. What he talks about is the echo of life, right? How what you're doing now and the results that you're experiencing now are actually a result of the things that you did last month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, right? You're experiencing your reality today by not what you did yesterday, but by what you did months ago, by what you did years ago, right? Like your life has become what it is because of the actions, the thoughts, the feelings that you had, the actions that you took and the results that you got previously. That's what your current reality is. It's like an echo, right? You do something and then there's a repercussion down the road of it, right? It's basic physics. To every action, there is a reaction, right? Now, I wouldn't say that there's an equal and opposite reaction because, obviously one action can lead to a catastrophic actions or results or, way bigger and better results. But that's a topic for a different day. But the other part of it is that, what you're doing today can also affect your results. It will affect your results 6 months down the road, 3 months down the road, a year, 5 years down the road, right? So you're almost like planting seeds. You're just planting seed after seed after seed after seed. If you haven't heard the metaphor before, there's a story of bamboo trees, right? They don't grow for 5 years. You plant them in the ground. They're like a really hard seed, I guess. But the story goes that they have to water these plants every single day for 5 years, and they don't see any results. Like it literally is like watering a patch of mud, right? Eventually it has to be like, why am I still doing this? Why? Like this is stupid, right? But in like the 5th year, that sucker pops up and grows like 90 feet in like 2 weeks, right? Like it's incredible. But if they and then the story is if they stop watering it for at least 1 day, it'll die. Right now, I don't know how true this is. I don't have experience with bamboo. I'm just telling you the story as a metaphor for this, right? Because I've experienced this in my life as well. Like you start doing the work, you plant the seeds, you water the seeds every single day, right? And then what happens? You take your foot off the gas a little bit. You just for a second, you rest on your laurels. You say, you know what? I've made it a little bit. I'm gonna coast. I'm gonna take this week off. I'm gonna take this weekend off. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna go lay on the river or do whatever I'm gonna do, right? And I'm not saying you should never have fun in your life, but what I am saying is that when you take your foot off the gas, the results stop happening. They stop happening. Whether this is in a business, whether it's in a relationship, in your body. I mean, you can definitely see this. Like, you ever, if you ever lifted weights or anything, like you can work forever to get up to benching, 200 pounds, say it's called, or whatever you want to do, and then you take a week off. You probably can't even put up 200 pounds anymore. Like the increases are incremental and the decreases are huge. Like if I don't run for a week, like I can barely run a mile in like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying, right? Like it's crazy, but the increments, but in order to get better every single day and over time, you have to steadily put that work in every day. You have to plant those seeds. You have to worry about that echo that's coming, right? And it's an incredible concept when you just think about it. But when you live this stuff, like when you live this every day and you live it for a year or 2 years or 5 years, you really start to see the truth in this entire message. Like the more seeds you plant, the more you're willing to water them and the more you're willing to delay gratification. And I know those are two swear words to us millennials, right? Delayed gratification. We want everything now. We can go online and get everything now. We can get whatever we want right now. It's crazy. It's crazy what happens when you're able to delay gratification and just kind of put off results till, a later time and just be content with that. It's kind of funny that we even have this conversation in this day and age because, 50 years ago that's just what you did. You delayed gratification and it was just the norm. And us as a generation, I feel like at least millennials kind of got away from that. We wanted everything right now. But, look what that's done to us mentally. It's made us kind of, selfish, impatient, arrogant. And it's no wonder that people see our generation as something that's, wrong with the world. Now, every generation has its good and bad parts to it, but I'm kind of getting off topic a little bit with the generational topic here, but that's the whole. It gets back to this concept of echoes and seeds, right? Seeds and echoes. The work you put in today is going to pay off, down the road, 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. But what you're experiencing today is a result of what you've done over the past 6 months, right? Like take a relationship. If your relationship isn't in a place where you want it to be, whether it's a marriage or whether it's a work relationship or whatever it is. If you're not continually working on that relationship, if you're not having effective communication, if you're not doing things together, like it's going to suffer. And you're probably experiencing a reality today that isn't desirable or what you want because you haven't put in the work previously. And you shouldn't be surprised, right? So the process of fixing that and getting back to a place where things can be better isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to happen over time with planting the seeds every day, all the time, not letting your foot off the gas, being like, you know what? I'm committed to this change. I'm going to do it. 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 I'm going to do it every day. Right. So my question for you today as we wrap up, I don't have a challenge for you today, but a question for you today is this. Where in your life haven't you been planting seeds and you're experiencing that hurting reality? And part 2 of this, how can you start planting seeds to start getting results down the road that you want? So I want you to think about this on both ends. Like, where haven't you been planting seeds and where can you start? Okay. So that's my question for you guys today. I guess it kind of is a challenge as well. All right, my friends, that's going to wrap up the show. As always, thank you all for joining. Really appreciate you guys. Did want to say one quick thing. If you haven't tried the Runwage app, my new running app that is now live on the App Store and Google Play Store, please go ahead and download it. If you're into running, whether you're not into running, it's even just any kind of reviews, any kind of feedback I can get from anyone would really, really help. And if you know anyone that might enjoy it, please share it with them as well. So, all right, my friends, that's going to wrap up the show. As always, Dan Hafner signing off. Make it a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.